Night for him, of course. Your first appearance as British champion is always a little daunting. You want to look good. You don't want to mess up, and it'll be very much on Mason's mind tonight that he's got to try and do a really good job here. And something for him to aim at is the fact that Terry Armstrong went 8 rounds with Ronaldo Snipes of America, the former challenger for the world title. So maybe Mason will have that as a possible target to beat. Two very big men. And our MC is Bernard Sutton.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the main event of the evening. This is an international heavyweight contest of 10 rounds, 3 minutes each round. Presenting from Wandsworth, London, the heavyweight champion of Great Britain, Gary Mason. United States, Terry Armstrong. Give him a hand. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, at the weigh-in today, both men scaled 17 stone, 8 pounds. Your referee for this contest is Mr. Roy Francis, and your timekeeper, Mr. Tom Power.
Well, I told you they were big. 17 stone, 8 apiece. Mason on the left. The referee, Roy Francis, former fighter himself. Well capable of handling 2 big men. Mason, 26 years old. Armstrong, a year older. Mason wearing the white trunks. When Mason won the title just over 2 months ago, he took his time about it. He sussed out his opponent, Trevor Hugh Roy Curry, carefully, jabbed carefully through the opening 3 rounds, and then brought it all to a summary conclusion with a couple of thundering right hands. The American Armstrong, wearing the black trunks, comes from Cincinnati, and was the only one of Bruno's sparring partners out in America who stayed the distance. All the others decided they didn't want to take too much of Frank's work, and they all walked out of the camp at various times, but this man stayed with it. And the Bruno camp were grateful for that. Armstrong staggered back from a fairly innocuous looking jab. Huge man, Armstrong. All his weight downstairs. Massive thighs. Mandarin moustache, Armstrong sporting. Already looking quite reddened around the eyes. That might be a relic of some of Bruno's work out in Arizona. Mason protecting a 100% professional record. He's got a better pro record than Frank Bruno had at the same stage of his career. Comes, of course, from the same camp as Bruno. And Armstrong wide open to anything that Mason throws. The question is, can he take it? Very, very red about the eyes. And he didn't like the last of those jabs. And Mason has done not much work in the first round, but enough I think, almost to intimidate Armstrong, because Armstrong almost turned away just before the bell. Well, I told you Mason had a 100% pro record, and there it is in figures, and that's an extraordinary record. All but one of his wins have come inside the distance. The only man he's gone the distance with was a tough Philadelphian called Oscar Holman, and you saw that on television from Wolverhampton a couple of years ago. Armstrong certainly didn't like a left hand that he took just before the bell. So, a nasty opening round for Armstrong, and plenty more of that to come.
Seconds out. Round 2.
Mason looking extremely cool, grimly going to work. Left hand from Armstrong caught Mason. Mason's arms are being carried a bit low. Mason certainly hasn't opened up yet. But just carrying the arms a little bit low and relying on those quick reflexes and swaying from the waist to keep out of trouble. It's slightly dangerous. Armstrong told by the referee to keep his head up. Armstrong's so open, he's impossible to miss. But that's no reason for Mason to get complacent. Armstrong at the moment doing very little more than playing the role of sparring partner.
Stop box.
Mason using his shoulder. Roy Francis is very quick to slot it to him. Armstrong's backed off and he's hurt. He's complaining, I think, that he's been thumbed in the eye. That's what it sounded like to me. Funnily enough, he's had a red eye. In fact, both eyes have been reddened ever since he got in the ring. But I'm sure that's what he was complaining about, that Mason thumbed him. No, it's not easy to do that with the modern gloves. This, as far as we can check, is Armstrong's record. This is what Armstrong himself says his record is, although the British Boxing Board of Control, when they checked him out, could only find 13 pro fights. But certain it is that he's only won 8 out of 15, if that. Not a good record, but he does claim to have won all 8. Now, you can see the right eye shut now, and that clearly is what he was complaining about. Roy Francis has resolutely ignored it, and it looks as though he's going to come out with one eye shut. Third round.
Round 3.
So so busy working like that, either haven't got the gumshoe back in time, and Armstrong comes out like a man who doesn't relish going to work anymore. That's three. The thumb is actually attached to the glove. You can't move it independently. You can get your thumb inside the thumb part of the glove, but you can't actually move it away from the main part of the glove. Mason going to work, and this may not go too much further. Oh, there's the big right hand, and the man goes down like a sack of coal. He's not going to get up. Is that enough? Will do. Terry Armstrong, the man who survived, I don't know, maybe 100 or more rounds with Frank Bruno inspiring, has succumbed to a right hand from Gary Mason in the third round. And the crowd here in the Grand Hall of Wembley, none too pleased with Armstrong's performance. He did play the role of sparring partner. He made very few aggressive moves. And all in all, it was a pretty easy night for Gary Mason. He was refused one opponent, Harry Terrell, who the board wouldn't accept. They said he wasn't good enough. And, well, they brought in Terry Armstrong. Was he really any better? Let's have a look at the finish again. It was all brought about by a big right hand. He came out complaining about that right eye. Well, the left set him up. Good punch to the body from Mason. Another left to the body, and then the one over the top. Well, that wasn't quite the end. I thought that was the finish, but it wasn't. That one was. So 2 lefts to the body, 2 rights to the head. Told the whole story. When Mason hits you, you know you've been hit. Very similar to Bruno. Another left to the body. Now there'll be 2 rights to the head. The first one, which he barely recovered from, and then wide open to the next one to the top of the head, which just bowled him over. And he was counted out. KO 3. Mason has now won 30 fights in 30 professional appearances.